Welcome to Inspired Vinyasa. My name is Sandra, and I'll have you start by just closing your eyes, taking a deep breath in, and giving me a loud exhale through the mouth. We're going to take the arms all the way up, bring the palms together, and release them home to your heart in prayer pose. If you feel like you hear some extra breathing coming through the microphone, it's the dogs that are down here. They like to sigh a lot, so you're not imagining things. We're going to pause here and set our intention for our practice. And then go ahead and release the hands. I don't know. It's cold down here, and I don't know why I picked snow as a theme. Well, I kind of do. We had our first snowfall last night, so snow is the theme. But I'm going to need to warm up a little. So I thought we'd start with some Ujjayi breathing. So if you're not familiar with that, it's totally new to you. Take the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. Hold it there. Breathe in and out through the nose. So hopefully on the exhale, you can hear the breath in the back of the throat. By keeping the tongue glued to the top of the mouth, that'll help you kind of constrict the breath into the back part of the throat. If you are very familiar with Ujjayi, you of course don't have to do that. And what you can add in is making sure that you are constricting on the inhale as well. And this is a good pranayama for increasing internal body heat without moving. And hopefully it'll warm us up a bit to talk about snow. And then go ahead and open your eyes. All right, so we're going to turn the palms down over the knees and find our seated cat-cow. So inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round it out. So there's a lot of symbolism associated with snow. I mean, it's often talked about in poems, right? Or it'll be a fabulous setting in a story. And why is that? What I find interesting, keep going with that cat cow, about the symbolism with snow is that it's kind of varying. I mean, you might get up and look out the window and think at first, wow, that's really calm and peaceful. But snow can also be tumultuous and destructive, right? And so I think it's going to be an interesting conversation we're going to have on the mat today as we kind of try to discern how we can use that symbolism on and off the mat. All right, next time you're sitting up, let's inhale the arms and exhale to the heart. From here, release the hands, and we're going to find Janu Shirshasana on the mat. So send that right leg forward, tuck that left foot in, and then slide that right hip back. And front foot is flexed. We're pushing the back of that thigh down towards the earth. Fingertips to the ground in front of you. Sit up nice and tall. And we're just going to find a very peaceful, calming, gentle fold. We haven't moved yet, so I'd prefer that you kind of play. In other words, back in and out of the pose. So in thinking about snow as wow, winter's definitely here. It is the end of a growth cycle, right? Everything has died, it's gone to sleep, it's hibernating, and there is this word hardship. And I'm sure the animals recognize that more than we do as they struggle to find food and they struggle to stay warm. But the symbolism of that is this idea of hardship. Now, does that mean the entire season of winter is going to be difficult and depressing? No, because remember I said there's kind of a yin and a yang symbolism to snow. There is a difficult side, but there's also a flip side to that. And so the flip side is going to be transformation. So what I want to do on the mat today, go ahead and switch legs, is when we find a hardship, go ahead and pull that left hip back. When we find a hardship on the mat, I want you to focus more on the transformation. So in other words, go ahead and sit up tall. As you hinge forward, like I'm noticing I haven't stretched it either, so I'm feeling pretty tight. So that's the hardship, right? But I know if I incorporate some breath and a little bit of movement, I know my hamstring's going to loosen up and there's transformation into calm and ease, right? So we'll look for that in some of our transitions. And then I want you to think about some of the perhaps difficulties you're having in your current world. And I want you just to, instead of focusing on how much they suck, I want you to think about the transformation that is going to happen and what's on the other side of that. Because on the other side is you looking out your window at this blanket of fresh snow. It is a transformation. It's covering what we cannot see. And where that takes me, go ahead and make your way back up, is snow is a symbol for nothing is as it seems. So while we're stuck in the hardships, don't let your mind get stuck there, right? Nothing is as it seems. All right, come on over in the table. And hopefully that's another reminder of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras that everything is temporary. Let's find cat-cow right here. Last one. Come back to a neutral spine, and then can we take our movement instead of up and down, side to side? So whatever that means to you, it could be the hips, it could be side ribs, whatever feels good. So in talking about the snow symbolism, we are going to be talking a lot about water. I guess we have to incorporate the symbolism behind water, but you know what's interesting about a snowflake is that, yeah, we know it's water, we know it's frozen water, but it's attached to something. It's attached to like a particle of dust or such. And so it has a very unique combination of the earth and water elements together. And so we'll figure out what that all means too. Come back to center, tuck the toes. Let's take this to a slow downward facing dog. As always, I like you guys to walk out the first one. Let's try to loosen up a little bit. When you're ready, set the alignment for that dog. So feet are hip distance apart does not mean the heels are necessarily touching the earth, right? You could have your knees bent if you want to. Lift your head, look at your hands, make sure that the creases in the wrists are running parallel with the front edge of your mat. And then we want to use the hands to push the mat away. Hips are up and back. Heart softens. Ears should be right between the biceps. Perfect. Give me a deep inhale. Let it go. And then let's take that right foot forward and do a low lunge. We're just going to lift the heart here for a moment. And then we'll add a twist. So left forearm on top of the right thigh. You can take the right hand to the hip or sacrum. We're going to sit up tall, sink down, and then pull that right shoulder back. Just add a little twist. I'm using my left arm as leverage. If you are cold, go back to that Ujjayi breath. From here, left hand is coming down to the ground. Right arm reaches up. I'm going to sink the hips again. And then let's just go ahead and reach that right arm way overhead. Take it back up to the ceiling. Pull the right shoulder back. Right arm overhead. You can even lower that right shoulder, dropping the heart to the earth. Inhale. Let's open this up. Exhale. Drop the shoulder. Inhale. Open it up. And this time we're going to release the right hand down to the earth. Come back to table. Reset your pose. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Hold it right there. So have we found any hardships in the poses yet, in any of the transitions? And again, if you have, acknowledge those, but I want you to be looking ahead to the transformation, right? Okay, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Deep inhale, loud exhale. Left foot stepping forward for a fabulous low lunge. Lift the heart, drop the hips. And then we're adding that twist. So find your balance, lift up, get the right arm up on top of the left leg, left hand to the hip or sacrum, lengthen, and pull back that left shoulder. Make sure the hips didn't lift with you. And then go ahead and release the right hand. Take that left arm up. Pulling back that top shoulder. Perfect. Deep breath in. Exhale, take that arm overhead. Drop the left shoulder. You can lower the heart here. Inhale, take it back up. Keep going. And this is the last one. Left hand is coming down to the ground. Come back to table. Inhale, cow. And transition into cat. Hold it right there. Perfect. Release the arch in the back. Tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Give me a couple sighs here. And then let's take that right foot forward between the hands. Back foot is going to follow. Uttanasana, forward fold. Take your time here. So snow has this element of mysticism, wouldn't you say? Mysticism is about being one with, well, there's actually 3 types of mysticism, but it's being one with the universe, it's being one with your inner self, and it's being one with a divine or higher power. And so that's kind of what makes a snowflake very interesting, in the fact that it combines the water and earth element, because you can imagine that the water element perhaps is a sign or message coming down to you from the divine or higher power, however you choose to refer to it. And then the earth element represents where we are. And so by that water coming down and freezing, not into ice, into soft snow, it's kind of like it meets us middle ground. It's as though perhaps we can't quite we can't quite tap into our inner self high enough that the higher power comes down to meet us halfway, right? If the water were ice, that's different. There's a hardness to that, a reluctance on our sentient being's part to be open to the message. So that's why snow is so interesting. It's soft. It brings us its message in a gentle and compassionate form, and it catches our attention, doesn't it? All right, take it halfway to monkey. Slowly release back down. And we are going to bend into the knees and round our way up. And then I want you to bring the shoulders up, take them back and down. Inhale the arms. And exhale to the heart. So as I was thinking about this idea of hardship, transformation, everything's temporary, and moving to some type of enlightenment, if you will, I was thinking that one of the harder transitions on the mat is going to be, in my opinion, from a closed hip in Warrior C to an open hip in Ardha Chandrasana. It's not difficult with your hands on the ground. Now you see where I'm heading. So if you have a block, it would be a good starting point. If you don't, do not worry about it. It's okay. You might even use a wall if one is nearby, but I thought that would be our transition we work on. So I can hear you. You're all really excited about that. Inhale, take the arms up. Don't worry, I've got your back. Exhale to the heart. And I'm going to pause here. If you do have a prop, look around, find it. I'm going to bring this block out in front of me. If you don't, it's okay. So from here, come on down into forward fold. I'm going to take my hands to my block. If we're not working with one, hands to the earth is totally fine, or to your shins, wherever you normally end up with them. And then let's go ahead and lengthen out the spine. So again, if you have the block, great. We're just working on Warrior C here for a second in case you're not familiar with it. So I want you to ground down into the right foot. So lift the toes, spread them out, re-grip the mat. And then I'm slowly just going to lift that left leg out behind me. And the catch here is to try to keep the hips level as you lift that leg. And so I felt myself realigning as I lifted the leg. Draw the stomach in. I'm constantly kind of fluctuating here to drop that left hip a little bit lower. The back leg, the knee, and the toes, I'm going to fall out of that off my block, should be facing down towards the earth. If they're facing anywhere else, you know that that hip isn't level. So looking for that to be level. If you can drop your head and look back. Okay, so this isn't too bad, right? All right, I want you to really ground down into that right foot. Lengthen and see if you can get the hips, doggone it, hands, they're called hands. Get the hands off of the floor or your block. They can go anywhere. Just get them off for one little second and then bring them back down. Release to forward fold. Perfect. Okay, let's try the other side. So flat back. You can be on your fingertips if you want. I think I'm safer on my fingertips than my block, actually. And then root down through the left foot. Lift that right leg out behind you. Stomach in. Play with the hips. Feel where they are so that you can get that right hip level. For me, the tendency is to lift it up a little higher, so that's what I'm checking. I'm going to drop my head, look at that leg, toes should be down. And then push into the earth with the supporting foot. See if you can get the hands off the ground. Nice. Don't worry about the wobbles. And then release. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale. Come on back down. Perfect. So from here, let's go ahead, bend into the knees, come back down to table. And let's find a half Ardha Chandrasana so we can kind of see where we're going to be going. So we're in table. I'm going to take my weight into my right leg, send the left leg out behind me. And again, this is going to be the same thing, same feeling here of drawing upward and in, leveling out the hips. You can always drop down for a second to see if the back toes are facing down. So half warrior C, we'll call this. And then to get to Ardha Chandrasana, we're just going to open up that left hip. The question is, can we do this standing without touching anything? I don't know. Maybe we can. Most likely we can't. That's all right. That's part of the theme, hardship to transformation. If we can't do it, does it matter? So we transform into something different. Okay, find your balance here. See if you can take that left arm up. Breathe. So the toes on the left foot, wow, I'm going to struggle with English today. The toes should be facing the same way as your gaze. So that's how we know that we've opened up that hip. Perfect. Slowly release back down. Let's try the other side. So right leg out. We're simulating half warrior C right here. Perfect. To a half Ardha Chandrasana, open up the right hip. And when you have your balance, right arm up. So feel everything lifting away from the ground. Nice. When you get to an exhale, slowly release back down. Perfect. Tuck the toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We're going to lift the heels and then take your focus to the space between the shoulder blades. That's where I want you to start rounding as you move forward into plank, nice and slow. Chaturanga. And then from here, go ahead and rest the right ear down on the mat. Take the arms down alongside you. Just close your eyes for a second. I want you to feel the hardness and the support of the earth beneath you. But then I want you to kind of transform in your mind. I want you to feel like you were that light snowflake that just landed on the earth. So again, this idea of duality, hard earth, soft snowflake. You can feel the hardness of the floor, but the softness of your physical body. All right, turn your head to the other side. All right. Hands back by the low ribs. Tuck the toes. Are you ready? We're pushing up into plank. Nice. Hold it here. And then lift the hips, downward facing dog. Give me a deep breath. Loud exhale. Step that right foot forward between the hands. This time, high lunge. So when you have your balance, we'll take the arms up. Try to get the back heel up over the ball of the foot. Inhale, we're lifting up a few inches. Exhale, sinking it down. Keep going. Nice, hands to the heart. So I don't think we're quite ready yet for our hand-free warrior. So as I kick off of that back foot, I'm going to plant my hands or my fingertips on the earth to find warrior C. Left leg is up. And then do your little alignment check. Draw the stomach in, lengthen through the supporting leg, level out the hips. Nice job. Forward fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale it down, bend into the knees, step back to plank. So bear with me here. For all the low back sufferers, we're going to eliminate cobra in our vinyasa, which means we're going down in chaturanga. We're popping right back up in plank. I know it sounds exciting, doesn't it? When you're ready, chaturanga, push it right back up. Nice, downward facing dog. Give me a deep breath. Left leg is stepping forward for high lunge when you're ready. Perfect. Inhale, lift. Exhale, sink. Keep going. One more. Hands to the heart. think about this kickoff to your supported warrior C. So I definitely want to plant my hands as I move forward, and then I'm going to adjust. On an exhale, forward fold. Nice. Bend into the knees. Let's come on down to the mat. I think if we're talking about this water element, boat is appropriate. So Ardha Navasana, half boat when you're ready. Then I'm gonna reach forward, grab onto the big toes. If you can't reach them, you could use a strap, or you could skip this altogether, frankly. Straight spine. And then we'll slowly straighten out the legs. Breathe. And then if you want to, I'll definitely run into a wall here, but you could try to open the legs out into a V. Bring them back in. Stay with the breath. And then gently release the feet back down. Let's come on down to the earth all the way. On your back. Hug the knees into the heart. I figured I probably scared you a little bit with the transition we're going to try, so we'll mingle it up with coming back down, becoming grounded, finding that snowy calmness. All right, send the left leg out. We're taking our supine twist to the left when you're ready. You can do what you want with the arms as long as you keep that right shoulder down. So in thinking about this idea of, I guess, mysticism, but I think I'm more comfortable saying signs and symbols, from the universe or a higher power, and our receptivity to that. It's kind of like if you were to picture water in its flowing river format, the signs and symbols, we'll say the water represents, are coming at me kind of fast, right? Depending on the speed of the river, right, and the flow of the water. So there's a good chance I'm going to miss something. There's a good chance I might get a little frustrated because it's moving so quickly, which leads to there's a good chance that I might not be then as receptive. I might become so frustrated that I tune out. And so if you think about it, maybe the universe is trying symbolically to slow the messages down so that we get it. We certainly aren't vibrating at a divine, higher power vibration. And so while we can't quite get to that vibration, perhaps the divine vibration struggles to get all the way down to the earth where we are. And that's why I was saying earlier, ice is kind of different. Ice is, in my opinion, along with this theme, it's a complete wall up of I am not receptive to this message. It's just not happening. I don't even see it as a message. So how then would the higher power vibration slow down the message if the water is coming too quickly for us? Well, okay, it could slow down the rate of the river. While I'm chatting your ear off, let's go ahead and come back to center, switch legs, take it to the other side when you're ready. So it could slow the water down, but one way to slow it down even more, in a way that gets our attention, is to turn it into snow. And I think the first snowfall is very pretty and calm, and we're like, oh yeah, I forgot it was that nice. It very quickly changes in your head to, God, I wish that would melt, right? And so I think part of the theme or the message there is we might not actually be ready for it to melt. What if this message, sign, symbol from the universe requires us to sit with it for a while? once we get it, I think the snow melts. And so this idea of snowfall, and if you're in a warm state or country and you're not getting snow, A, expression of gratitude, right? And then B, you can just picture it in your head. What is it trying to tell you today? Where in your life today do you need to slow down and ponder? I know we want quick results. That's just our human nature. But where do we need to slow down and just recalculate? Okay, go ahead. Return to your back. Hug the knees in. And then since we've decided we're avoiding cobra for low back issues, I'll give you a back strengthener since we're already down here. Go ahead and release the legs, but allow the knees to be over the hips. You're going to need to draw the stomach in and low back down. And if you want to keep your hands on your abdomen to remind you of that, that's okay. But don't let that lift. The second you do, I need you to modify this entire transition. So pull the low back down, hold it. And then I'm going to go ahead and release my right heel to tap the ground. The farther out I stretch the leg, the more I'm working. And so if that is too hard for you, you can simply release the heel straight down. Yeah. And then we're alternating legs. The moment that you feel the low back lift, I need you to just realign and consider that maybe you are stretching that leg out too far. Keep going. Keep pulling that low back down. And so which part of this pose is hard, or exercise, if you will? Which part is easy? Right? And what I'm trying to get at is something hard doesn't mean everything about it is hard. Go ahead, hug the knees in when you're ready. So to just swap perspective, because snowflakes represent duality. Rock your way back up while I'm chatting. The duality of a solid versus a liquid, water versus ice, the white snow versus a black sky at night. So there's always the flip side in what you're experiencing. We just might not see it. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I want to keep the knees bent, reach down, grab the big toes again. This time go straight into Navasana, tipping back, keeping the spine long. And then thinking about this transition, we are going to end up in forward fold. So all we're going to do is release the feet, plant the hands, push our way up. You'll be in Uttanasana. And if that didn't work for you, we'll wait a second for you to get here. Inhale, take it halfway. Exhale, let it go. Bend into the knees, roll through the spine. As you come up, bring the shoulders all the way up to the ears, and then take them back and down. Perfect. Close your eyes for a moment. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Forward fold. Right into monkey. Take it back to plank. Remember, chaturanga to plank when you're ready. Go. And then downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Loud exhale. Right foot is stepping forward. High lunge. Take the hands to the heart. And now let's visualize. So I'm visualizing I'm going to come forward into Warrior C. I'm going to try not to touch the ground. Now, having said that, that might not be possible. And boy, I tell you guys this all the time, on this carpet, I feel so wobbly. So if the hands need to go down to get to warrior C, fine, but then can we bring them back up? So however you want to try this, we're going to just kick off, and you can tap that back foot. Yep, I'm wobbly on the carpet. So I'm going to steady myself and then bring my hands to the heart. Do that little hip check. Nice. If you have to keep a hand down, that's okay. Good job. Step back to your lunge. Take the arms up. Warrior B. And let's just kind of rock it out here in Warrior B. Let's play. So straighten out the leg, take it back down. Straighten out the leg. You can imagine the arms are kind of pulling you in both directions. We're just moving. We're erasing from our mind that Warrior C. It's all good. Okay, we're going to cartwheel the hands down. Step back to dog. Float the right leg up behind you, three-legged. Take it to flying pigeon. And then back to downward facing dog. Give me a deep breath in. Exhale. Left foot stepping forward, high lunge when you're ready. Take the hands to the heart. See yourself making that transition in your head, and then just do it. Nice. High lunge to Warrior B. And straighten out that front leg as the right hand pulls away, and then switch it up. Next time you're bent into the front knee, cartwheel the hands to the earth, downward facing dog. Float that left leg up, three-legged dog, into flying pigeon. Downward facing. Deep inhale. Loud exhale. However you want to get back to Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway. Release, bend into the knees, roll through the spine, come all the way up, bring the shoulders up, and then exhale them back and down. Perfect. All right, here we go. Right leg is stepping back, high lunge. Take the arms up, release them to the heart. Kick off, Warrior C. Good, breathe. Okay, now we're gonna try to open up that right hip without putting the hands anywhere else, but you can put them down if you're gonna fall over. Good. And then come all the way back up, plant that foot, shake that off. Woo. We did it, one side, there we go. We're gonna take the left leg, step back, high lunge. It was a wobbly path, but we got there. Hands to the heart. Warrior C. Virabhadrasana. Whoa, come on, warrior. When you're ready, try opening up that left hip. Oh, my entire back just cracked. And then slowly make your way back up. Shake that off. Nice. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Hang out right here. So what I like about that transition is it doesn't have to be pretty, and I'm sure mine wasn't. And it's really, it isn't about being perfect, it's about the effort. We tried. And so sounded like hardship. Maybe it really, really was. But then we went through a transformation, and here we are to talk about it, right? Okay, deep breath in. Let it go. We're going to wiggle the feet to the width of the mat. Come on down into Malasana. So turn to face you. Yeah, knees are wide. Elbows are inside the knees. Spine is long. Hands to the heart if you can. Perhaps you can close your eyes. So we're going to open up the arms in this pose. Right arm is staying glued to that inner knee, but it's stretching out and down to find the earth. Left arm reaches up. This is a great twist here. Breathe. If you're going to fall over, because the heels don't touch the ground, you could put something under your heels, blanket, roll up your socks, whatever you got nearby. Perfect. Okay, come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, switch it up. And come back to center. I'm going to release the hands, slowly straighten out the legs. I'm going to wiggle them just a tad farther apart so you'll be off your mat. And then I'm walking my hands over to the left. I'm going to sink down into this knee, transverse lunge, Skandasana. So I like to come on the heel of that far foot. You don't have to if you don't want to. Hands to support you if you need them. If you are fine in this pose, in balance wise, you could take your hands to the heart. And then I kind of like to play here sometimes. So if you have your balance here, that's an if, you can try, sit down, pop back up. I'll give you a second. Okay, let's walk this lunge over to the other side. Take a moment to settle into it. Find your balance. And then if you want to try again, you can sit down, come back up. I'm going to release my hands, come back up so that we are in a wide forward fold. So I'm going to pigeon toe the feet, take my legs a little wider, and sink it on down. You can do whatever you want to with the arms. So I mentioned mysticism before, and the idea there is that every object in the universe has a counterpart to it, and it has a meaning associated with it. It would be like your tears are associated with the releasing of human emotion. And so the snowflake also has meaning to it. Again, thinking about your life and your world, where do you need to slow down to grasp the message? And then picture this, once you've gotten it in your head, it's like you've reached out and you've grabbed the snowflake, like, I got it. And then it's okay for it to melt. Then it's okay. Speaking of melting snow, Ogden Nash wrote, "Snow is snowy when it's snowing. I'm sorry it's slushy when it's going." I think he's so fun. All right, I'll lift you in this wide angled fold. Hopefully you took a moment to play. Let's go ahead and get the hands underneath us. I'm just going to walk my hands over towards that right leg. So we're adding a twist to our fold, however that works best for you. And then let's bring it around to the other side. And then back to center, where we'll wiggle the legs back in all the way. You'll be in forward fold. And then we'll bend into the knees and roll to round our way up. Shoulders up. Exhale. Back and down. Perfect. Inhale the arms. Take it to the heart. Close your eyes. and then release the hands. I was thinking I even feel wobbly just standing here on this mat on my carpet. Okay, so shift the weight into the left foot. Once you have your balance there, let's grab onto the right foot with the left hand, bring it up towards the hip, and see if you can drop the knee without creating a big arch in the low back. So variation on tree, Vrksasana. Hold it. Nice. All right, as I let go of the right foot, my right hand is going to grab on to the front of the right knee and help me out in this hip opener. Whoa. I can't fall. There's a dog in front of me. Nice. Bring that knee back forward, set the leg down, walk it out. All right, ground down through the right foot. When you're ready, left foot's coming up, right hand will grab it, bring it up towards the hip. See if you can drop that knee down, stomach in. Good job. To our hip opener. So the left hand takes over. Bring that knee back out in front. Set it down. Inhale the arms. Exhale to the heart. Come on down and forward fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, take it back to plank. You know it's coming, right? You've got one more in you. Yeah? Chaturanga to plank. Downward facing dog. Deep inhale. Loud exhale. Just hang out here for a moment. So we embrace the calmness of the snow. We know the hard work is over, right? We've already done our transformation on the mat. Just hanging out in dog, finding the breath. Snow is also symbolic of purity. And I like what I mentioned before, the idea of that it isn't what it seems. I think about that blanket of white snow in my backyard. Like, I have 2 dogs. That blanket of white snow is not what it seems. But it can give us the illusion. And sometimes that's a fabulous vision, right? Water in itself is cleansing. And yeah, I just like the image of the snowflake coming down slowly, waiting for us to be able to recognize the message that it is. So I know I left you in dog. Come on down, table. Widen out the knees. Let's take this to Balasana, child's pose. Douglas Florian wrote, "Look at winter with winter eyes." And that's from one of his poems. And it made me stop and think about, if you look at winter with summer eyes, you are most likely sad and lamenting, right? There's remorse, like, oh, are you kidding me? And you want to go back in time, or you want to jump ahead in time. If you look at winter with winter eyes, you suddenly see its beauty, its creativity, and it opens you up to, I think, a deeper appreciation of where we are in the present moment. So I want you to relate that idea to the hardships in your current world. Are you looking at them with eyes that are from the past? There's where the sadness and lament is, right? Oh, God, I wish I could go back to that time. If you were to look at that situation with present eyes, it slows us down enough to go, okay, this is what I need to do to move forward, right? That whole idea of not getting the message from the running river water, but getting it from a floating snowflake that says, it's okay. Take your time. Think about this. I'm not going to hit the ground till you got it. All right, let's go ahead and walk the hands back in. We'll free the legs from being in front of us. Take the legs into cobbler, soles of the feet together, knees wide. If this is too much of a hip opener from you, you're grabbing whatever's around you to prop underneath the legs for a moment. And then we're slowly going to meander back. And close your eyes. So remember, we started out with Ujjayi breath because I was freezing and I needed to warm up. But I want you to think about the breath in a different way, right? Ujjayi means victory. It's an internally warming pranayama. So I want you to go back to it. Again, if you've got this down, just jump right into your Ujjayi breath. If you don't, tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth, inhale and exhale through the nose so you get a constriction in the throat. I want you to imagine that the heat of that breath thaws out those places within us where we are addressing our issues as if we were ice, where we just can't get to the place where we see the problem, where we see the answer, where we see peace, where we see what we need to do. We are thawing out those places so that we become open. So go ahead and give that a try. Slowly release the control over your breath as you straighten out your legs. And then if there's anything around you that you want to grab for Shavasana, this would be the time to do so. And as you settle into corpse pose, I want you to make sure that you are comfortable. You've attached to the analogy with the snow of being calm and peaceful. Werner Erhard wrote, "You and I possess within ourselves at every moment of our lives, under all circumstances, the power to transform the quality of our lives." So I send you into Shavasana to do just that, and I will let you know when it's time to come back. Begin to bring your focus back to your breath. And then gently deepen the breath as you invite movement back into the hands and the feet. And with as little movement as possible and keeping your eyes closed, go ahead and gently roll to a side in a fetal position. And when you're ready, very peacefully push your way back up. Deep inhale through the nose. Loud cleansing exhale. Inhale, both arms up. Bring the palms together and release them back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.